that you're here with us tonight, whether you're live in our audience, watching us on YouTube or Facebook or any of our other live platforms. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for our Roku and Amazon and Apple TV and Android TV watchers. Thank you so, so much. And for all of you that are watching us on replay, thank you, thank you, thank you. And those that are listening to us on our podcasting networks such as Spotify, Amazon, all of the good top people love to listen to all of these interviews. Thank you. So we are so happy to be here tonight. I am going to check one more time to see if Miss Bridget is in the room, and I don't see her. Yes, there she is. Hey, Bridget. How are you? I just don't see her. Where are you? And Bridget, hey, Bridget is
Hello.
co-host for tonight, and I am super, super excited that she is going to be here with us. I'm going to go ahead, Bridget, and I want to share just a little bit of information about Bridget. I think I met Bridget, I think we were talking, what, 3, maybe 4 years ago. Now, time really doesn't mean anything anymore. Everything goes by so quickly. But Bridget is a starseed. She's a channel. She's a multidimensional meteor. Yes, she is. She is a meteor and came in on a meteorite, no doubt. But thanks so much for being here. And she is also a Galactic Unity ambassador. And I'm going to let her tell you all about the amazing sessions that she offers, tell you about all of the services that she has, because she's going to be with us here all month. And you're definitely going to want to reach out and talk with Bridget. So, Bridget, I'm going to bring you up and spotlight you. Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm
How
so
are
happy to be here,
you?
Sheila. Thank
Oh,
you.
I'm so glad that you're here. I love your background.
Thank
So
you. Thank
nice.
you.
Can you tell people just a little bit about you, about your website, all the services that you offer? And then I'm going to get you to introduce our special guest, which I'm so excited about having Ashley on. So I'm going to just turn it over to you.
Yes, ma'am. So you guys can find me at my name, Bridget Renee Holiday. That's Bridge, the word bridge with one T, Renee with three E's, Holiday with two L's. I am a BQH hypnotherapist, beyond quantum healing hypnosis. So quantum hypnotherapy. I also do starseed, awakening, and ascension mentoring. So if you're curious about any of that stuff, if you want to tap in with your galactic lives and expressions, if you want to connect with your high self in a very deep way, to have answered questions and curiosities, then this is definitely a way to do it. And I am so excited to connect with whoever is interested in that. But what I'm really excited about today is Ashley. So, I met Ashley. Sorry about that. Someone was calling in. I met Ashley just a week ago, really. I met her at the last conference that Neil Gore of Portal to Ascension did, and Ashley is known as Metaphysical Ash. She experienced a spontaneous Kundalini awakening in 2015. And since then, she's navigated the challenges of spiritual awakening, mastering various areas of energy by understanding the body as a vehicle for the soul. She works with individuals to help them regulate and activate their spiritual gifts, clear and cleanse the light body through etheric surgery, and alleviate stress and anxiety associated with the shifts brought on by spiritual awakening. Oh, you guys, so important, right? Um, so this is so beautiful. So you can connect with Ashley on most social media channels under the alias Metaphysical Ash. And you can visit her personal website at ashleapiefer.com. Did I say that right? Piefer?
Mhm.
Okay,
You
that's
did.
how I've been practicing all week. This is Ashley, you guys. She's amazing. You're gonna love this. Sorry, I've been practicing. You're gonna love Ash, you guys. This is the Conscious Awakening Network family. Ashley, welcome to the family. when I first met Ashley, I was like, she's family. I know her. We have other lives together. Like I
Yeah.
knew instantly. I know that you're just going to have this warm welcome from our beautiful fam, and I'm really excited about what you're bringing in for the family today.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be here and thank you for the opportunity. After our mini session in your event you were hosting on Clubhouse, I put together a mini experience. So we're going to go in and we're going to connect with our electric heart and more of our wholeness and spirit. So I'm excited to take you guys on this little journey today. Let me share my screen. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you, Sheila. So let me present. Yeah, as Bridget mentioned, I had a spontaneous Kundalini awakening, which had me accessing higher angles of consciousness, angles that I connected with as a child, but I attributed it to something wrong with me mentally. And I think a lot of people experience that and their gifts go dormant, their sensitivities go dormant. And as an adult, that was no longer an option for me. So we're going to go through a little experience. We're going to do a little bit of work on our light body. So this is an activation and a dimensional shift experience. That's my QR code if you'd like to stay connected. I would love to connect with you all, hear about your journey. What are you navigating? What challenges are you experiencing? How can I assist and serve you? So we're working on the business of our isness, and I'm going to be going back and forth with some of these slides. I tend to be a visual learner, so I put this together for those who learn through visualization. We have the physical body, the nervous system, and our torus field, the business of our isness, going into the foundations of our being, our biology, our energy, our electricity that runs through us, connecting with the business of our isness, redirecting authority to the heart center. Why we focus our awareness on the electric heart. This image over here that I put together, I am an artiste.
Hey, Ashley, we
Yeah?
can see the sidebar and everything still. Do you want to go full screen?
Yeah. How do I do that?
Just hit the present button.
Present.
Should be a purple button.
There we
There
go.
you go.
Is that it?
Perfect.
That's it.
That,
Okay.
Beautiful.
All
yeah.
right. I'm learning something. So now we're in presenter, and it's a little bit smaller for me. I'm not able to see the whole thing, but let me. Okay. We're going to work with it. So I did put together some information on why we want to set authority to the electric heart, shifting out of interference within the mental plane, within the brainwave states. Frequencies around us can push us out of the present moment, can even infiltrate the body, the nervous system. So, this little image here that I created of the body within its field, the expansion of the heart center, shifting authority from the mind to the heart, reclaiming and commanding our sovereignty based on the electric heart and our connection with the divine or source, God, whatever you want to call that, however that fits for you. So take a moment, take a breath with me here. Notice your body, front, back, side to side, from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. Wiggle your fingers and toes so we're connecting with the nervous system. And we're redirecting our authority to our heart center. So, whatever is going on around you, notice how you feel. Sensation. That is why we wiggle our fingers and toes. We're coming into a new human experience, which is through higher sensory perception, redirecting authority to our heart. reclaiming our nervous system and shifting our mind in service to that higher intelligence, that electric quantum connection, which is our heart. And this is going to help us navigate these fields of intelligence as we strengthen our higher sensory perceptions. Notice your breath, how that feels as you take a deep breath in, the temperature of the air on your skin, the taste in your mouth, the clothing on your skin. So we're coming into full presence by noticing our senses. These are tools shifting us out of the mind and into the heart, that higher sensory perception. Take a few deep breaths. I'm going to introduce some frequencies as we go through this experience. Observe where you are as you feel into this space. Really observing where you are and how you are, here and now. Noticing the top of your head, bottom of your feet, front of the body, back of the body. And as you breathe, feeling the lungs expand, that breath filling your body. Noticing the space around you. Noticing your skin. Temperature of the air. Taste in your mouth. Coming into full presence as we do a bit of work today on our light body, Merkaba, vehicle of the soul. Notice how the sound feels as you breathe. Breath is your tool. I want you to imagine the electric heart, center of your chest, illuminated, awakened, aware, pixelating with divine light as you begin to breathe into your electric heart. Notice how you feel as you observe your body, top, bottom, front, back, side to side, setting the intention to connect with your electric heart. Feeling into the space within. Your universe, Noticing the skin on your body. Imagine that skin illuminated in golden light, pixelating. Introducing yourself to that frequency, that barrier, that protection. And then observing yourself a little bit further out, 360 degrees, the entire body. Noticing the scent of the air, clothing on the skin. Feeling into the space of presence. As you notice the body, the front of your chest, the top of your head, back of the neck, shoulders, torso, elbows, wrists, fingers, toes, up the legs, knees and hips, setting the intention that this body, this vehicle, is in service to the Most High, your higher self. Setting the intention that you're prepared to release anything that does not serve you and allow that light in. As you notice your chest, breathe deeply, connecting with that electric heart. We're going to imagine a vertical line up to the crown, opening you up to the frequencies available from your higher self. As you open that crown, breathe deeply, feeling into the body, into this now moment, recognizing the space around you as that crown opens. And your higher self begins to fill your body with the frequencies necessary to illuminate you from the inside out, filling you like a container from the tips of your toes. The body begins to pixelate, clearing the nervous system of any distortion or interference, reclaiming and commanding the body in service of the Divine, Most High. Feeling those frequencies pixelate through you. Notice how you feel. You could imagine a time in your life, a memory, where everything was just right and you felt completely fulfilled, whole, alive. Imagine that memory as that crown opens and more of those divine frequencies fill you. Using your mind as a tool, allowing that memory to serve you as you let the light in, as you allow yourself to illuminate, as you reclaim and command your entire being in service to the highest vibrational frequencies you can hold at this time as you notice the body, shoulders, back of the neck, knees, ankles, toes, top of the head. As you breathe with each breath, feeling deeper into that alignment, letting the light in, noticing the chest, that heart, breathing deeper to this moment, into this space. Noticing how you feel as you imagine your body, this vehicle of the soul, present in this space at this time, the conduit of a new earth experience. And I want you to take that light, push it down through the soles of your feet, awakening, activating the chakras on the bottom of your feet, connecting your love, your light to the core of our beautiful planet, introducing yourself to her. Setting the intention that you are prepared to release all that does not serve you. All the stories you've told yourself about who you are and what is capable. We are working with new earth energies. Let that light in, connecting your light with her intelligence. Notice that feedback. How does it feel when you introduce yourself to the core of our beautiful planet? And does she have any information for you? Using breath as your tool, observe that connection. Notice sensations in the body as you strengthen your connection with our beautiful planet, with the organic technology that is here. Noticing the body, how you feel, anything that comes to you. Observing yourself 360 degrees in this place, in this space, as the conduit for a new earth experience. Notice your electric heart. That line, that link you have from your heart to the top of your head, opening that crown, those frequencies coming through. As you center, as you stabilize, as you align yourself in this place, in this space, at this time. Setting the intention to be present and aware where you are, how you are, here and now, Notice your breath, how that feels, temperature of the air, clothing on the skin. Your body and the space around you. As you take a deep breath in, we're going to lock ourselves into this dimension, into the divine frequency alignment, connection with our planet and the height of the cosmos, as you intend to align with your highest and greatest potential. And notice how you feel the space around you. Any sensations on the skin, any shifts within you, as breath is your tool. We lock, seal, and secure ourselves in this place, in this space, at this time. Feel free to request any divine guidance that is meant for you. Asking your higher self to deliver the messages you need at this time. Feeling into the electric heart center. Asking Mother Gaia how you can serve her at this time. Notice what you feel. Coming into presence with the energy around you. Front of the body, back of the body, top of the head, bottom of the feet. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Feeling the nervous system, using breath as your tool. Lock, seal, and secure yourself into the now. Notice any subtle shifts. How is everyone feeling? If you have anything to share, any downloads that have come through, share that in the chat.
Ashley, that was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to say, Ash, so when you started talking about the electric heart, I have to go outside and ground to really anchor in, right? I feel like I'm a really grounded person, but every time I don't get a lot of the physical, energetic movement on a daily basis. It's been a long time. And every time you would say the electric heart, I would get energy just like pour through me, through my hands, coming through my heart, but also through the crown, and shoot out of all the energy points in my hands and feet. It was amazing. And then I could feel so much, like just so many different things happening. So I just want to say I love this. I felt like it was so beautiful. So, so beautiful. I don't know what we have in the chat, but it was really grounding and anchoring. And I've had a day today, so I really am grateful for
I'm
this.
so glad. Yeah. I love what you just said, and there's strength in these containers. We do this together and we link as a unity field. So there's a lot of power in this. And I love doing this work. And I want everyone to recognize New Earth, that New Earth experience comes through the physical body. We
Mhm.
can't think ourselves into it. We have to feel ourselves into it and allow it to work through us through the electric heart.
Mm, that's beautiful. So, what are some of the major reasons that we can't drop into this heart space all of the time?
Um, Distortions in the field, I would say. And a lot of times, our bodies, we have to acclimate to this new energy. When I had that Kundalini awakening, I went through years of detox. And I think it would depend on the specific individual. Like, what is their biology? What is their specific coding within their DNA? What are they working through, and what do they need to let go of frequency wise?
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, Bridget, like you, I also felt all of this energy moving right in that heart space as you were talking about it. So it's really amazing how just dropping into the frequency and listening and allowing the words, even the frequency of your voice, to kind of move in and through can really begin to affect change in the field.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is
for
a really
sure.
powerful container. Like, I can feel everyone on this call is living extremely intentionally. So
Mhm.
this is a really beautiful gift to be here. I'm excited to connect with everyone and to feel the power of this container and the electric hearts that are in it because it's palpable.
Mhm.
I really loved that meditation, Ashley. I just want to say thank you for inviting us into our bodies and into the cells. My team was taking me into the cells. They were taking me all over the place within it. And I was like, yeah, I think I need to implement this more. Like, I go into my heart space a lot. Like, I spend a lot of time in there. But I was really loving the way you brought us through the front, back, and the sides, all the way in. And then the exploration into the new earth frequencies connecting and all of that. It was really beautiful. I actually, you said this was inspired by the step in, step out I did with
Mhm.
in the last one. I feel like it was so good. It was very, very complimentary. Um, I would love to ask you, Sheila, I can't see. Yeah, we have some time. I would love to ask you about your third awakening.
My third awakening went cosmic. So I was awakened as a child. I used to play with things. I used to play with the light things and I used to play with the dark things. So I was very connected with all the realms. It went high, it went low. And
No,
then as an adult,
sorry, honey. When you say things, can you elaborate on that?
frequency, I consider them frequency intelligence in between the realms and dimensions that most humans can't see. So elementals, I would play with the elementals. And then as a preteen, I got involved with the occult, so there were some intelligent frequencies there. Some of it went dormant in my mid 20s, although I always had mild energetic sensitivities. And then my third wave went cosmic. So, what I recognized, and the reason why I took us through that meditation to connect to the height of the cosmos and the core of the earth, is because in between the dimensions of consciousness, there can be interference, even galactic interference, which can sway you off your path. Just like human beings, there is stuff out there that has agenda, and if you're sensitive, it can mess with you, which is what I experienced. So my third wave had me very conjumbled, and it fried my nervous system. My body broke out in this crazy rash. They thought I had lupus, and it was the frequencies. And it was everything coming at me at once. Eventually, I stabilized, and now I can discern the uh, quality of the energy, the quality of it. So my third wave went cosmic, and I know there are numerous ETs out there, some malevolent, some benevolent, and everyone wants a piece of this game. in what we're doing here. Like, we're working with the world of form. Your body is so powerful. We make waves through the cosmos. The human being is a desirable experience.
100%. Can you tell us about you've got a lot of galactic cosmic ethereal people
Yeah.
listening right now. Can you tell us a little bit about the beings and the consciousnesses that you were communicating with? And maybe the ones that maybe assisted your journey and things like that as well?
Thank you.
They've all assisted me. So at the beginning, I could see like Pleiadian. It was Pleiadian and Octurians. They were the first ones that came in. Some of the Pleiadians were kind of questionable. I wasn't sure. Now I know that not all of they have an agenda. Some of them do, like just like the human. It feels like some of them kind of push you towards their agenda. Octurians felt a little bit more neutral, loving. I didn't have issues with them like I did with the Pleiadians. And then I've also connected with hybrids like grays. Um, I'm actually a hybrid. So I have a conscious aspect of myself that is pushed forward many years from now as a hybrid being if we don't do the work we need to do now to rehabilitate ourselves. And they are very transhuman. They cannot reproduce. So I carry some codes to help people who appear to be on the path of becoming that type of being. I've
Mm,
connected with the mantis beings. I love them. And then over the past
beautiful.
couple years, because I attribute it to my detox and the emotional work, I've been able to connect with the dragons and the seraphim and the angelic realms, which I was connected with them as a child and didn't really realize it.
Mm,
You know, a lot of times we connect in with these higher frequencies, these higher beings as children, and we just think that they're our playmates. And
Yeah.
our parents think they're our imaginary friends, when in fact they're as real as the friends that you go to school with. And so that's always really cool when you're able to reconnect with that kind of energy and really begin to anchor that in. I was wondering if you could tell us just a little bit more about the hybrid aspect of yourself. Because I'm sure there's going to be people that are listening. There may be people here watching right now, some people in the audience. So I would really appreciate you elaborating on that a little bit for us.
Okay, it's a very like weird thing to talk about, but I definitely consider myself a hybrid, like a gray hybrid. I have that aspect of my consciousness. So I can actually see when the DNA is being, it's almost as if there is a specific type of technology that goes into the human being and siphons the light out. You become less organic and more inorganic or robotic. It is the frequency and the spin of the energy in the body, which siphons you out, and you're less organic, so you're unable to reproduce. My aspect has come back with specific codes to help connect people more with the organic fields. My connection with our planet is really, really intimate because I can feel again. And it's almost as if I have that memory of well, of what it's like to experience operating very robotically. And I'm in this human body, I'm in this biology, and I can feel my direct connection with nature.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, for people that are listening to this that might say, oh my gosh, I wonder if I have that technology inside of me, are there any kind of telltale signs that people can begin to identify with so that they can shift this?
Yes. Um, Disease in the body. Some of that is contracted so that we can, clear certain things in the field, but then some of it is a reclamation of your parts. It's almost as if there's technology in aspects of you and parts of you that is sucking out the life force. Um, Another telltale sign, you don't feel.
Mm.
You're disconnected from your feeling body. That would be a sign. Um,
And so if people say, oh my gosh, I do feel disconnected, what do you recommend to them?
coming back in, coming back in, like setting the intention to reclaim every aspect of you, like starting with the bones. Like we want to harmonize ourselves with the frequencies of nature and clear out any of that distortion at the subatomic levels. Intention is key. As soon as you intend and you start locking in, your body's going to know what to do. You're going to know how to detox. You're going to know where to go, what to do to maintain the integrity of your organic DNA.
So a lot of people that I work with have had, well, there's actually a polar opposite experience that I am observing in people. One of them is people are just shedding weight very, very, very quickly, and they're extremely concerned about that, or they're putting on a lot of weight very, very quickly. And it seems to be something that I'm noticing more over the last probably 3 months. Can you address that?
With the shedding and the, I'm really not sure because I've experienced that also through my process of shifting my body and reclaiming all the parts. Like you start to get to know all your systems. Like you go inward, you get to know your heart, your reproductive system. I've gone through a lot of fluctuation with that.
Mm.
So it's interesting because everybody's in a different place, and we're working with our spirit, which holds the instruction set for how our body renders itself in space and time. I don't really know why it happens that way. I think it's just the essence of our being becoming more aligned with the truth of our soul.
Mhm.
Like as we remove that, maybe some of the way we were shaped or rendered was not in true full alignment with who we're meant to be and how we're meant to operate.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Thank you.
That's the best answer I got. I've gone through that, the fluctuations of weight. Yeah. And
Yeah.
some year you might be working on your skin, another year you might be working on your digestion. It's just really doing your best to reclaim. Like they have all those chemicals and distortions in our food, but why? Why is that there? We think it's about the money, but I think it's about something much deeper. I think it's about our DNA. I think it's a hot commodity cosmically.
Mm. And so, what do you think is happening with our DNA cosmically?
I think that the human body, the human being, is so advanced as a creator that can make waves through the cosmos that there are different extraterrestrial species that will actually use the light or life force inside of us and harness it out into different places and times and spaces. That's what I think. As crazy as that sounds, I believe that's what's happening. I feel
Well,
like I can say that.
it doesn't sound crazy to me.
Yeah.
I'm in full agreement. Yeah.
I mean,
Not to me
I'm
either.
still getting acclimated to what comes through and to feeling comfortable talking about this. Like my nervous system is so much better than it's ever been.
Hmm.
But when I would first share this stuff with people, I could feel my nervous system. And eventually, detox and commitment has allowed me to share this without feeling that almost it was almost like a frequency that was running through me because I was still carrying that fear code.
Hmm. Beautiful. Um, I'm not up on all of the terminology, but I do know that there are various gray hybrids in place, different civilizations that all have an agenda with this planet, some of them being the Yael, among others. And I was wondering what your opinion about that is. Are we on a particular timeline where that we are integrating more of the energy to allow more of a hybridization society, or are we on a timeline that is allowing us to break through all of that, to really anchor in all of those aspects of ourselves for the ascension process, which is moving from one plane of existence to the other, and even our perceptions.
It's interesting because when you ask me this, I'm feeling into my body and I'm trying to, receive what's meant for me to share through my heart, and I can feel like restrictions in my throat, and I can feel restrictions in the front of my chest, like talking about this. Um, I think, to be completely honest, I think it's a little bit of both. I think there's no definite timeline. Like, it feels to me for my specific journey that I'm on that rehabilitation timeline. Um, Able to, now that I'm able to connect with those higher realms, the seraphim and the dragons, and some of those, and I feel like I am personally, but I still feel that there are other aspects that are going to be on a different trajectory.
Mhm. Okay, beautiful. Do you have the space or the bandwidth right now that we could open up for some questions?
Sure. I'll do
Okay,
my best. I'm feeling a lot in my body. Like, I can feel my chest opening. Yeah, and there's a lot of energy
wonderful.
running through me.
Okay, I hope that's a good thing. Okay, if anyone out there, if anyone in our audience has a question that they would like to ask, okay, Susie, you have a question.
Well, yeah, it was just I've done a lot of energy work and stuff for decades, but when you said the electrical part,
Yeah.
something in me kind of like shifted. And I went, because I know from a lot of my studies about being an electromagnetic being. So I shifted to that. And then I'm telling you, my heart chakra just opened, and there really was light healing, and I just felt this expansion, and I just loved it. I don't have a question. Just do that some more to us. Really, really so great. Thank you so much. Beautiful.
We're plugged in now. So we plug in to the earth and the height of the cosmos, our direct connection with God, and command our human, We're here to have the human experience, and we have our allies, but we have to recognize the power of the human being.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for your comment, Susie. Hey, does anyone else have a question or a comment that they would like to share?
I just want to send Susie some love.
All right, I'm just
Brock,
kind okay, go ahead.
I was going to say, Brock says something about BlackRock just bought Ancestry.com. So he's like, yeah, there's definitely something going on with the DNA. I agree with you. While we're waiting on someone, I have a slightly different angle, I think, because of my experiences, but I 100% agree that our DNA is fantastic, but I don't think it's just humans on Earth that the DNA game is played with.
Right.
From my experiences and my remembrances of many of the hybridization programs, we're doing it across the board in all kinds of different combinations, right? At least the way I remember it, the way I access. So yeah, everybody has different agendas, right? And that doesn't necessarily mean that they don't sort of vibe with one another. And I'm sure there are some that don't. But I've definitely experienced lots of things happening around the grays, specifically the beings that we call the Zetas, even though that's not really the origin point. But yeah, I think the DNA piece to this is very interesting. And it is something that is being spoken about a lot, not just on Earth, but also within the galactics. So I think that's it's a key piece to this puzzle.
I love putting these pieces together, and I love it when Bridget shares because every time you share, I feel like I'm also reclaiming more truths about myself. Like I can feel it in my body, like in my chest and my stomach. And when you shared that, it made something click to me that there are other angelic races who have, claimed and commanded their DNA as an angelic species. And I think that's what we're working towards here in the human. The humans are working towards being an angelic species. And when we connect our electric hearts, like that electric heart, that code to connect us, to unify us as an angelic species, like moving into an awareness of how we feel and communicating through the fields of energy rather than the mind. Like it feels so much cleaner, and I can see others like this is where we're headed. We're headed into a more unified angelic earth. That's what I feel when you ask me that question about the timelines. Like
Mhm.
I think how space and time works, it feels like there's going to be some kind of split, but we'll be navigating a unified field at some point.
Beautiful.
Agreed.
Yeah. One of the things it feels like is as you're speaking and as you're taking us through these meditations and really from what I'm understanding the work that you're doing, it's almost like you are this acupuncture rod that is placed on the earth that is generating out these vibrational codes that's connecting into the collective consciousness of humanity to help anchor or awaken or whatever it is that someone needs when they come in contact with that vibration. It does something to them. It brings an awareness, it grounds them, it opens them up. But it really feels to me, especially as you were talking during this hour, the vibrational resonance that's coming from the frequency of your voice and just having your presence here is actually sending out these ripples.
I agree 100%. And when you say the words electric heart, there are so many codes and keys in that. I mean, I could see it coming in. My physical eyes were shut, but every time you said those words, you activated something within those frequencies, and I could see it like coming into my field. Not like it's foreign energy coming in though. It's almost like it activates on the atomic and subatomic levels and then moves its way, kind of ripples through if I'm looking back at what it was doing. But I mean it was wild how, and wild is a good word for me, you guys, most of the time. But I'm definitely using it in a good way here. But it was wild how instantly the energy just, right? It's like everything took off. For those of you that don't know that sound is just, I like to do sound effects sometimes to describe things because it makes more sense when you hear it. But yeah, Ashley, that was powerful. And I kept thinking as I was experiencing, number one, I was feeling this heated feeling of dragon energy all around. And that was coming through. I'm still feeling it right now, especially like right here. Um, but I was feeling the heated energy of the dragons, and I kept thinking, your voice is made for this. Like your voice is made for this type of work, made for that. Like I could just feel it, hear it in even the diction that you have, the way you enunciate. Um, yeah, I was feeling it 100%. Sheila, were you too?
Absolutely,
Hmm.
I was.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, I like to imagine that as we command and claim our electric hearts, we are clearing out any of that distortion in our field that is speaking to the body, that is rendering us in an imposed way, like removing any imposition on our field. That's why we do it. Because I'm just the facilitator, but as you intend, so it will be. And the more we do it, the cleaner our field becomes, the more aligned our DNA is. Like we can truly clear out some of that stuff, some of that distortion.
Beautiful. Thank
It feels good to do that, to be here. And thank you for allowing me to share my, hybridization. I can't even say it. This is the first time I've ever shared that. Like my soul originates from Orion, but I also have that aspect of myself in the future that is hybrid. If we don't do the work we're doing now, but it
Beautiful.
feels good to be able to share that. So
Wonderful. Well, it
I
was
love.
wonderful to have you here.
Hmm.
thank you.
That you felt. I love that you felt comfortable sharing that with us and being in this space with us. That's what we do, right? We
Mhm.
share these things. I mean, part of what I'm here to do is to normalize all these conversations so people do feel comfortable. I know Sheila's here for that too. And the more we speak our truths into the world, the more normalized it becomes for the people that have been sort of holding back, right? And it activates those remembrances within us. So I'm grateful to you for sharing that part of your story. I feel like it is impactful. There's lots of people out there in the world talking about beings from the future coming back. I think it happens a slightly different way than people think on TV, but this is a perfect example of past, present, and future happening simultaneously.
Yeah.
There are lives and expressions happening across the board, right? So this is a perfect example of being in this now moment while being highly connected to lives and expressions that are yet to come, right? Using the air quotes, right? And how those elements of our soul are still encouraging us in this pivotal moment that we're in within humanity's evolution and consciousness, right? It's monumental what we're doing in this life. That's why all eyes are on us. That's why if you use your first eye, as I like to call it, and it's not a third to anything, but if you use your first eye and you look around the globe, I believe it's globe. If yours is flat or whatever you want to call it, but if you look around, you will see tons of ships throughout all the dimensions, like all the way up. I mean, I see them even into like upper eight, right? If you look through the dimensions. So there's lots of people assisting us, lots of people, I call everybody people. There's lots of people assisting us, lots of people spending time with us and focused on us. And some of them are out there with like popcorn, they may not be doing anything, but they're
What are
like,
they doing
what are
now?
they gonna do next? There is always this small craft that I see. It's sort of saucer like. It reminds me of the two-person Pleiadian crafts, but it's very Jetsons-esque when I see it in my mind. That's what it translates into, at least. And there are these two beings that are very ET looking, not little grays, not tall grays, like something different. But it's like every time I look, and they're in the sixth or the seventh, they're kind of in that area. And every time I look, they're like, even though they don't have popcorn, that's the feeling. Like when you get enmeshed in a movie, right? And you're just like eating. That's exactly, they're always there. So I think time moves differently for them. But yeah, I
Well,
just love it. Ashley, this has been so
Thank you
beautiful.
so
I'm so
much for
yeah.
letting
excited.
me join.
Oh,
Yeah, this has
it's
been
been
really great.
absolutely amazing. And I can't believe our hour is almost completely up. So, what I'd like to do is ask, do you have any final words that you would like to leave people with, including where they can contact you, what your website is?
Yeah, you can contact me on my personal website. I will share it in the chat. And most social platforms, I'm on there as Metaphysical Ash. And what I want to leave you with is your electric heart. So at any point, at any time, you can set the intention like, I am committed to aligning with my electric heart and my highest expression of self. And remember that frequency that you experienced today, 360 degrees to clear your field. Like, use that as your vehicle, use that as a defense mechanism against energies or anything that is attempting to impose itself on your field or within your electricity.
Beautiful. Thank you. And Bridget, how about you, my dear? Any final comments?
Ooh, the energies right now when this is being recorded, we are in Lionsgate in Mercury retrograde, which has been quite an experience. And I don't even know, there's so many other things happening right now. My thing is go within, be within your own energy as often as possible during this and get yourself out in nature, connect with our beautiful planet, especially if you're feeling topsy-turvy. Our beautiful, amazing planet is she helps to, you know, really harmonize our fields. I like to call her the great equalizer. So I would 100% say, just you guys keep doing what you're doing, be gentle with yourself, and just know that every moment when we choose love over fear. Every moment when we choose to support ourselves and others, every moment that we make those decisions, it is rippling out into the collective, and it is making a difference energetically, with not only in our own lives and our own bodies, but also with the collective and the people in our lives as well. So just do your best. You know, that's the thing. Like, we have a lot of pressure happening right now energetically. Remember to give yourself that soothing time and just do the best that you can in each now moment, and let it go if it's not the best, right? Just know that there's always the next now moment and the next one and the next one. So that's what I would say. Spend as much time in your heart as possible and connect to Gaia.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And thank you for being my co-host this month. I'm very excited. So guys, this is kind of like the kickoff to the month, and what a kickoff it is having Metaphysical Ash here with us. So for all of you that are watching us, for all of you that are listening to us, please know that if you have not already signed up to be on our mailing list, you can visit the consciousawakeningnetwork.org and sign up right now, and you will, I guarantee, get at least 2 emails a week from us. So it'll be promoting all of our upcoming speakers, all the events that we're involved in. And so we really, really want you to, you know, be part of our Conscious Awakening family. And so, everyone, thank you again for being here, for listening to us, for opening your hearts, for dropping into your electric heart. And until we are back together again, I hope that you really hold that frequency and stay inside your heart. Watch this over and over again. You know, memorize this meditation so that you can drop in and show up each and every day grounded and your best selves. So everyone, until we're back together again, thank you so much. Namaste, and have a beautiful week, everyone. Thanks and good night.
Big hug.
Good
Bye-bye.
night.
Love you, Bridget. Mwah.